The EU is making a fresh attempt to relocate euro clearing from London to the Eurozone. That would be another unnecessary burden on the economy, some experts say. The governor of the Bank of England rarely affords a public outburst of anger. A few days ago, however, Andrew Bailey has made unusually clear what he thinks at a hearing in London. The Europeans played location politics and risk a serious escalation in euro clearing, the central bank chief complained. Supervisors and politicians in the EU have long made it no secret that derivatives transactions in euros should ideally take place in the Eurozone. Years ago, the ECB had tried in vain to force clearing to move from London. Since the New Year's Brexit, the impression that the EU is now serious has been growing and the situation has changed there. The permit for the London clearing houses is only extended until mid-2022. A working group is examining how a shift to the Eurozone could be carried out technically without jeopardizing financial stability. Banks are being asked to increasingly conduct their business through clearing houses in Frankfurt and Paris. Bailey's rant is an indication of how acute the danger is seen in London and how great the mistrust between the partners is now. It is by no means clear that moving the clearing is the best solution, they say. In principle, the arguments of the Europeans make sense. In times of crisis, you need direct access to the trillion-dollar market. And besides, London has no permanent monopoly on the lucrative business. Opponents of the development now say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why change a system if it works well? From the perspective of market participants, it would be more efficient to leave the clearing in London. Anything else would only result in additional costs. Refusing equivalence for London would mean that the market in Frankfurt and Paris would split up. Some of the business would also move to locations such as New York, which are recognized as equivalent by the EU. That would hardly be the Brexit dividend that Brussels has in mind, they say. The EU Commission would have to put up with the accusation that it had always made against the British government in recent years, that it puts political over economic interests. The non-recognition of the financial centre London would, according to the opponents of the end of the equivalent, mean that the economic Brexit costs are even higher overall. And this time, in their eyes, the Europeans would be to blame. But besides that, Dublin remains the most popular destination for UK financial services firms looking to relocate staff or operations as a result of Brexit, according to RTE. The accounting and consulting firm has been compiling a tracker of movement of services and staff at 222 financial services firms in the UK since the Brexit referendum in 2016. 36 firms say they have either moved or are considering moving staff or services or both to Dublin specifically. Of this 36, 9 are universal banks, investment banks and brokerages, 18 are wealth and asset managers, while the remaining 6 are insurers or insurance brokers. Luxembourg was the second most popular destination after Dublin, with 29 companies relocating staff or services there, followed by Frankfurt and Paris. The EY Financial Services Brexit Tracker also finds that 43%, that's 95 out of 222 of financial services firms, have publicly stated that they moved or plan to move operations from the UK to Europe. This takes the total number of job relocations since the EU referendum to almost 7,600. However, the number of new jobs created in the EU by these firms has remained static at around 2,850. Our data shows that even in the grip of a pandemic, firms are still making decisions and moving people and assets to respond to the reshaped geopolitical landscape, Professor Neil Gibson, chief economist with EY Ireland, said. Sitting atop European charts has become an encouragingly welcome trait for Ireland, with economic growth and tax receipt data likely to mimic its performance in the tracker. He pointed to rising costs in Ireland as a potential brake on the momentum. This is certainly an angle competitor cities are using to try to compete with Dublin for post-Brexit relocations, he added. The figures also show that the volume of UK assets have migrated to European countries since the Brexit vote has increased to almost 1.5 trillion. 24 firms, 10 banks, 9 insurance providers and 5 wealth and asset managers have so far transferred or announced an intention to transfer assets out of the UK to the rest of Europe due to Brexit. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel and to my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.